Hello folks, this is Attila Facina, and today we're going to talk about TypeScript utility types. So the first one we're going to talk about is partial. Let's say, for example, we have a user type like this. So as you can see, a couple of properties are required and a couple of properties are optional. And we have a user like Jane Doe, and she's a regular user. She needs to have a username and an email at least. So let's say we want to have another type of user where everything is optional. And this is exactly what the partial utility type is about. It takes one type as parameter and returns then the exact same type. So for example, if we take email out of our user one, TypeScript is going to complain. But if this user is of type guest user, then it's okay because everything is optional. Now, let's say, for example, our user is going to instead become an admin, for example. And to be an admin on our system, you need to have every data defined. So the type admin is actually the type user, but making everything required. So that's when the required utility type comes in handy. And that's about it. So the required works exactly the same as partial, whereas partial returns making everything optional, and required returns the variant of your type making everything required. Another very useful utility types is pick. So let's say, for example, we have our base user like this. And what we're going to do now is we're going to integrate with another system, and it's going to give us only first and last name of each user. So for example, we have this imported user type, and what we want to do then is a subset of our type with only first and last name. So what pick does is it takes as a first parameter a type and then properties that it needs to cherry pick from that specific type. So in this case, third-party user is from type imported user, and it has only first and last name. So we cannot have other properties, only first and last name. And as the opposite side of pick, we have also omit. So omit does exactly the same thing as pick, but it takes out the property which the key is passed. So for example, let's say we want an immortal user. For immortal users, of course, the age is irrelevant. So for example, Dracula is our immortal user. It needs to have a first name, a last name, and the email. An utility type that is very similar to omit, but it's actually used on omit definition, is exclude. So let's say, for example, we have these two types. Our personal contact for this example is going to have phone mailbox, and our work contact is going to have email and fax. So what we want to do is to have a preferred contact, which is going to be either the personal contact or the work contact. So let's say we have a kind of user that's never at home. For this user, we want to get the personal contact out of this union. So work contact is going to be the preferred one. So that's exactly what exclude does. It takes a union as the first parameter, and it removes one type. So in this case, what we want to do is to remove the personal contact. So for example, in this case, we have, and we cannot pass for an email. So let's say, for example, we have this never at home user, and it's from the type never at home. As you can see, TypeScript's already telling me, okay, so you need to have an email and a fax. And in the same way as exclude, we also have extract, which does exactly the opposite. So extract, but instead of taking out the type you're passing, it's just going to leave it in. So let's say we want to have a type for fired users, and we need to extract from the preferred contact type only the personal contacts. This user can only have a phone and a mailbox. And that's it. This is how exclude and extract work. So now let's have a quick recap of today. So utility types are types that work as a function. So they receive a type and then they output a variant of that type. We saw today partial and required, where partial receives a type and gives back the same type with all properties optional, and required with all properties required. Omit and pick receive a type, omit removes a key from it, while pick gives back only that key, and exclude and extract receives a union, exclude receives a type to remove from that union, and extract receives a type to keep on that union. And that's it, folks. I hope you have liked. Thumbs if you did. Subscribe if you don't want to miss any more videos, and see you next time. Bye.